Auburn fired its last head coach in part because he spent too much time on the golf course. Guess where Auburn's new head coach is taking his team for his first fall camp on the Plains? A golf course. You can't make this stuff up. We discuss the method behind Alex Golesh's madness next on Scarbo Knows. If you didn't know it by now, we got another reminder on Tuesday that Auburn football is going to be a lot different under Alex Golesh than it was under his last two predecessors. Welcome to Camp Golesh as Auburn gets ready to kick off preseason camp for the 2026 football season in a old school, old-fashioned way, you might say. Well, not completely. We'll get into the details in a moment. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Skarbinski, a.k.a. Scarbo. Appreciate you watching Scarbo Knows here on YouTube. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Don't cost nothing, but it does help us, and we do appreciate it. And make sure you check out our sponsor, Money Management Services. We'll hear from them later in the show. So let's go. Let's go to the Grand National stop on the Robert Trent Jones Trail. Let's go to the Marriott Hotel and Resort there. That's where you will find the Auburn football team for the next 13 days. Well, at least you'll find them there early in the morning and late at night because that's where they'll be bunking down. Alex Golesh is taking their car keys. They have no choice. They will bond as a team or else. So they'll spend the night there. They'll get on a bus as a team. Probably more than one bus. They will head to the practice facility on campus. They will go through their meetings. They'll go through their workouts. They'll go through their weight work and their conditioning work. And then at the end of the day, after all the work is done, they will bus back as a group to a very nice resort. 600 acres on Lake Salgahatchee. Robert Trent Jones himself, when he was designing the Robert Trent Jones Trail, which is an incredible series of golf courses across the state of Alabama. If you haven't played them at least once, I highly recommend you do. He called the site in Opelika the single greatest natural site for golf he'd ever seen. High praise from one of the most well-known golf course designers of the last history. But they're not going there to play golf. Unlike, say, the last head coach, Hugh Freeze, who, as I mentioned in the open, spent far too much time playing golf. They're not going to play golf. They're not going to hang out at the pool. There will be some team bonding experiences that won't be a grind, but this is about coming together as a football team. This is about setting a tone for Alex Golesh's first Auburn team. And you got to love what he said about the reason behind this experience at his camp opening press conference. He said this in describing the experience. There are no girlfriends, dogs, cats, whatever guys are into. It's just us for the next 13 days. the whatever guys are into has everyone rolling. But the key words, the key phrase in that description, it's just us. Auburn against the world. Auburn against outside distractions. Auburn against low expectations. And if you needed to be reminded that there are very low expectations from the outside world about this Auburn football team, all you had to do was look at the very first coaches poll, the preseason coaches poll. That came out on Tuesday. It was not very complimentary of the Auburn Tigers. Let's look at the poll itself. Let's just look at the SEC teams in the poll. Ohio State was picked number one in the preseason poll. No surprise there. Oregon was number two. But there were 9 SEC teams in the top 25, starting with Georgia and Texas at 3 and 4. Texas A&M came in at 8, followed directly by Oklahoma at 9, Ole Miss at 10, Alabama at 11. By the way, that's the lowest Alabama has started a season in the coaches' poll since 2008, which was Nick Saban's second year in Tuscaloosa. They started that year unranked. All they did was run the table in the regular season and play a classic SEC championship game against eventual national champion Florida. Then you've got LSU at 13, Tennessee at 18, and Missouri at number 25. Auburn plays 5 of those preseason ranked teams from the conference. Not unusual, not a surprise for the Tigers. But to make it more interesting, let's look at the other SEC programs that also received votes. And if you extrapolate out by the number of points they received, and just a reminder, in these polls, these top 25s, you get 25 points for a first-place vote, 24 points for second place, all the way down to 1 point when someone puts you at number 25 on their ballot. So Auburn did get some votes, but let's look at the other SEC teams that didn't quite make the top 25. Florida checked in at what would have been 27, South Carolina at number 30, Vandy at number 33, and then Auburn, which would be number 34 if they ran the poll down that far. Auburn had 29 points overall. Not 29 votes, but 29 points overall. But if you take the 9 SEC teams in the top 25 and the 3 teams ahead of Auburn in the also receiving votes category, that means, according to the coaches in this poll, or whoever voted for the coaches in this poll, they expect Auburn to be number 13 in the SEC, or they feel like Auburn's number 13 in the SEC at this moment. Not very complimentary. Not shocking. Not without merit, given the rut, the sinkhole that the program has fallen into over the last 5 years. But this is a new day. This is a new coaching staff. This is a new roster. This will be a new starting quarterback, a proven starting quarterback, the most proven starting quarterback Auburn has had for years. So not a lot of belief in Auburn right now. But it is interesting that Golesh is taking this approach to sequester the team as much as humanly possible during fall camp. Look, this is an age-old tradition that's been done before. He did it at South Florida. He did it all 3 years that he was the head coach at South Florida. I think he took his team to an Embassy Suites in the Tampa area. Again, not exactly roughing it. Not exactly Junction, because when you, at least when college football historians think of preseason camp off campus at a remote location, Opelika is not really remote from Auburn. It's about 15 minutes away from campus. But when you think of the old school, old style preseason camp, you think of Junction, Texas. Paul Bear Bryant's first year as the head coach at Texas A&M, he took about 2 busloads of players. The exact number has been lost to history. It was somewhere in the area of 100 players that left for camp. By the end of camp, they only needed 1 bus to bring back the 29 players that survived. One of them was Gene Stallings, of course, who went on to have a rather successful career as the Alabama head coach, the first Alabama head coach to win a national championship after Paul Bear Bryant. If you tried something like that today, you would be incarcerated. You would be dragged off in handcuffs. You would be slapped with so many civil suits from so many agents representing so many players and their families, your head would spin. That's not what this is about. But there will be a toughness about this experience, and I believe there will be a toughness about this Auburn football team. You could see it in Golesh's face today. You could hear it in his voice, how excited he is about what this team could become. They've got a lot of work to do to get there, but he seems to like this roster. He seems to like where they are going into fall camp, and he seems to believe that they can surprise people in a good way, that they can do something that Auburn hasn't done since 2020 and put together a winning season, that they can do more than put a scare into teams like Georgia and Alabama, which they've done even through these dark times since 2021. They haven't been a pushover. Not week in and week out. There have been a few New Mexico States along the way, a few Kentucky 10, Auburn 3s along the way, but it is a new day. And I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say it as long as I see it. And that's that I see some Pat Dye in Alex Golesh. This is the kind of thing that Pat Dye would smile upon. Getting away from the distractions, getting away from campus, getting away from sorority rush, to name one distraction that happens on a college campus right before classes start. And that's what this Auburn team will do. They will go through camp for the next 13 days. They will decamp at the Grand National Robert Trent Jones Trail Resort for those next 13 days. They will be on campus, though. That's where they will go back to the Performance Center. They will work on their practice fields. There will be scrimmages involved. There will be 3 mandatory days off. But they will do this until classes start on August 17th. And we all know there are more distractions than ever for all of us, not just college football players. But the one thing, the biggest challenge that coaches face right now is how do you minimize those distractions? How do you keep your players' minds on their business? Especially now that it's become a business for them as well. And this is, I think, a good way to do it. Now, of course, different people will have different opinions on this decision. Different people will mock it. They will laugh at it. They will suggest that it's a gimmick. And if Auburn goes 5-7 again and loses 7 games for the 6th consecutive season, maybe they'll be proven right. I don't see that happening. I don't see Auburn losing 7 games. I don't see Auburn losing more games than it wins. It won't be easy. The month of October is brutal. But there's something about this team. And there's something about this head coach. Interesting that not only did Golesh talk today, but we also heard from his coordinators, Joel Gordon, the offensive coordinator who came with him from South Florida, and the holdover defensive coordinator, maybe the best recruit that Alex Golesh was able to secure for Auburn, DJ Durkin. And Durkin was asked, naturally so, to compare Golesh to the last head coach, whose name we will try not to name as much as possible going forward. And Durkin said, talking about Golesh, he has a very clear vision of how he wants things. Which raises the question, what do you want as an Auburn fan? What do you want to see this year in Golesh's first season on the Plains? What are your expectations for this team? I was on Doug Amos's radio show based in Montgomery. They also have an affiliate in the Auburn-Opelika area. And he read a text from a friend of the show, longtime Auburn person, who addressed that very question. And they didn't give a number. They didn't say they wanted to be 9-3 this year or 8-4 or go to a bowl game or win a bowl game or upset Georgia or Alabama. He said he wanted to see a team that looked like it was well coached. He wanted to see a team that looked like it had a purpose, that it was on the same page, that the offense complemented the defense, and the special teams did the same, that the head coach had a plan and a purpose for the decisions he made, even if those decisions don't work, and not all of those decisions will work. Golesh will make the wrong call at times. He'll go for it on 4th and short when he shouldn't. He'll punt when maybe he should have gone for it. But there will be a method to the madness. Just as there's a method to the madness of staying at a swanky resort for preseason camp. But again, they're not there to party. They're there to recover each night after a long, hard day of work and spend the night in a nice room, in a nice, cozy bed, which is what you should do to take care of your players. This isn't Junction. This isn't 1954. Bear Bryant's methods would be borderline illegal today. Will Alex Golesh's methods be the right thing that Auburn needs to look like a well-coached, well-organized football team? We said it before, and again, I will repeat this. Auburn comes across right now as a well-run organization. I haven't been able to say that for a while. And that may blow up in my face, that statement. But Golesh has, so far, won the offseason. He's done the right things, said the right things, showed up at the right places with the right attitude, and he's got people believing in him. He's got me believing in him. And I don't do that easily or lightly without evidence. I like what I see. I like what I hear. Off to a good start as they actually get the football season started. Just hope none of those players take their golf clubs to camp. All right, that's going to do it for me for today. I'm Kevin Skarbinski, a.k.a. Scarbo. Appreciate you watching Scarbo Knows. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. And make sure you check out our sponsor, Money Management Services. Whatever your financial services needs, planning for retirement, looking for investment advice, the Rice family, they've been in business since 1992. They are a family-owned, fee-only financial services firm. They will treat you right. Let's hear what they have to say next. I'm out. See you.
Since 1992, Money Management Services in Birmingham has provided individuals and business owners with trusted, fee-only financial advice. We're more than advisors, we're your financial family. From retirement planning to tax strategies and estate planning, our team builds personalized wealth management plans tailored to your life. At Money Management Services, we treat you like family, because when you walk through our doors, you become part of ours.